Assalamu alaikum.
What's up?
Is it allowed to beat the children in order to make them follow the principles of Quran or otherwise?
No, this is a very important question. There is no mention in the Quran that the parents should strike or beat the children. Because of the emotions, or they are just emotional people. The child are only emotions they've got. They don't understand the intellect. They don't understand. They slowly and gradually understand by the passage of time. So there are times men, the parents, the father and the mother, because of their their own problems, they beat their children. I would advise, there is no mention in the Quran that one should beat the children. But you can give them punishments, so they may realize that we have done something. Either ask them to stand in the corner because you've done something. So the moral conscience you have to develop. Not that they're doing anything wrong, breaking things, and you don't do anything. It doesn't mean that you ask beat. Physical beating is not permitted. There is no mention in any ayat in the Quran that the children should be beaten by their parents if they don't listen to you. Except, I'm telling you, you can give punishments so that you develop the moral conscience in their mind, especially with the Quran. But still again, they will do it again and again. You are not responsible for it because it is their own life.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question. It's has arisen from a quotation that Jannah is under a mother's foot. Is it so?
No, this is a very famous quotation in the world. The Jannat lies under the feet of the mother. So this is not mentioned in the Quran. But you see, unusual thing is that in the Quran there are 2-3 references I would like to quote. Like for example, Mary was the mother of Jesus, peace be upon him. So Jesus was a righteous prophet and Mary was the mother. One example. Then there is another example. Ibrahim's wife was righteous and Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub, they were prophets. Okay. And the example that is most important is that Firaun and his wife adopted a son, that is Musa, peace be upon him. Now this is the important factor that I came to know, that there is not a contradiction between the belief of the mother and the son. There is a contradiction between the father and the son. If the son, because the mother, whatever the mother pours in, the child becomes. Firaun wanted to slaughter the sons. So at that particular time, because they didn't have a son, so Firaun's wife said, let's adopt this son, Moses. So Musa salam was adopted by the Firaun's wife. So whatever nice, good things she knew, she passed it to Moses, and after Moses got the revelation, and it's not mentioned in the Quran, but I would assume because she was brought up by Musa salam, when Musa salam was a messenger and a prophet, so she must have diverted, and it's mentioned in the Quran that she was not with Firaun, because Musa was adopted by Musa salam, by her, Firaun's wife, so she followed Musa salam and got the Jannah. She did not was with Firaun. So this application tells me that there are contradictions between father and son. I've read two occasions, father and son, and between wives also. Nur Islam and wife, and Lut Islam was not. Nur Islam and Lut Islam was righteous, and their wives was not righteous. So they were not together in the day of judgment. But there is not a contradiction between mother and son. Wherever the son is, the mother is. So mothers should know that their Jannat lies in the son's hand, not in the feet. If you pass on goodness to your son, the son will make sure that you become right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
One son.
My question is regarding adoption. Is it allowed in Islam? If it is allowed, then what is the status of a child whose father is unknown?
Okay. Now, in the world, in the state, the world, one the example I just now told her, adoption, people think when to adopt and what to adopt and if his adoption is allowed or not. If you note down the references, I'm just giving the reference. In Surah Al-Imran 3 and Ayah 37, in this Zakaria, Allah made Zakaria to adopt Maryam. Zakaria al-Islam, Maryam was adopted by Zakaria al-Islam, the messenger of Allah. Imran was the father, and Imran had a wife. And when Maryam was born, she was adopted by Zakaria al-Islam as a messenger. So adoption is allowed in the case of whatever the case, not defined but adopted. Who adopted? Zakaria al-Islam. Now in Surah Yousuf, Yousuf al-Islam was also adopted because he was thrown in a well, and the wife of Aziz they both did not have a son, they adopted Yousuf al-Islam. So again the adoption is there. And Musa al-Islam was adopted by Pharaoh. 3 male genders adopted. In the 3 male genders, you will note there's one more point I have looked into, that Musa al-Islam was adopted by a pharaoh, a non-believer. So if you want your son to be adopted by even a wrong person, you still can give. You understand? If you've got 10 kids and you want somebody to adopt, suppose somebody wants to adopt your son and you want to give it away because Allah has provided you so many kids. So remember, you can give it even to a pharaoh type personality. But you cannot give your daughter, because Zakaria al-Islam, Allah made sure that the daughter came under the influence of a prophet, Zakaria. Whatever the Maryam was, but basic, her nucleus or whatever was, she was a female. Otherwise, whatever the character traits she had. So Zakaria al-Islam adopted Maryam, a messenger of God. So we should not let our daughters to be adopted by not a good believer. You understand what I'm saying? You should not let your daughters to be adopted who is not a good practicing believer. A person who is a boy, he can be adopted because there are conditions mentioned in the Quran. Yousuf al-Islam was adopted. But he was adopted, but look at the condition. Even a woman, Aziz's wife had, wanted to have relationship with the boy, his own apparently adopted son. So what about the girl? So make sure in adoption, a person who is adopting, if you're giving your son for adoption, if you are giving, you must make sure your daughter should be adopted by a good, religious, pious person. A very pious person. And even the son, you can take up a chance because the Quran says the male gender fight. If the adopted father is wrong, Musa as-salam took a stand. So they had an opposition. But mother always go with the son. So that is adoption. If somebody's fathers are not known, then who's your father? If you do not know the name of the father in the world of a son or a daughter, what do you call them? Or if suppose a woman gets pregnant by some illegal sexual affair, so you must not drop that child. It should be produced as it is by the will of God that child came into being. Remember this, very important to you, because Surah Ahzab 33 says in Ayah 5, Ud'uhum li'abahim huwa aqsatu inda Allah فَإِن لَمْ تَعْلَمُوا آبَاهُمْ فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ وَمَوَالِكُمْ. Call your sons by your father's name, that is most justified in the nearness of Allah. فَإِن لَمْ تَعْلَمُوا آبَاهُمْ. So whom your fathers you don't know, فَإِخْوَانَكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ, they are brothers in the judgment, and they are your protectors. So remember, this is very important. Whenever an illegal act is performed anywhere in the world, and it is wrong, I am not justifying the act. The act is wrong, but the birth of the child is created by Allah. The birth of the child is created by Allah. So how you can say what we use the word wrong for it? So Allah says in the Quran, if you do not know the father, they are your brothers or protectors. So that is how Allah saved. There are so many people in the world who are created like that. By sperm banks, by so many other means, there are children created without a father. But you can never ever call them B. Because according to Quran, they are your brothers. So your question, if you do not know the father, they are your brothers and they protect us. Because in the world, people who is born like, he's been saying from the very, some people are saying, you are not born of a father, you don't have a father, you are like this, you are like this. So you are getting hurt that man, what wrong he did. Their parents' act is wrong. We agree to it. But the child birth cannot take place by the will of God, except by the will of God. There are couples who are married for so many years, they cannot produce children. Do you know that? There are couples married for so long period, but they cannot produce children. And once an act took place and they were pregnant, the child they got pregnant. One act can produce the children, and you are blaming that person who is born. You are not allowed to blame the boy or a girl who's been produced by an act which was not permitted by God, zina. So you cannot call that child wrong by wrong name. Allah called them by Mawla. They are your protectors. So that is very important question that you asked. That we people are labeling them according to Quran. Every child is born by the permission and the will of God. So child is nothing to do. You should have respect for this child. Only Islam gives respect to these kind of people in the whole world. No other religious book gives this respect. And that is why these people are being victimized, because their life from the very childhood, they've got a label on their head that they are a production of wrong act.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amna. My question is, as it is forbidden to raise the voice before parents, does the same way we require to respect the parents of our spouses?
Sorry, as it is?
As it is, does the same way we require to respect the parents or our spouses?
Yes, spouses, you are comparing spouses and parents.
Parents.
In parents' relationship, you know, the parents are having a greater respect than husband-wife have. Among the husband-wife relation, the wife has to listen to the husband. That's in the Quran. But in front of the parents, they have to respect the parents more than the wife as in relation. Because Allah says for the wife, you sermon them, lead them from the parents, and you strike them for the wife. But for the mother and father, you cannot say oof. So you have to respect the mother and father of the husband's father and mother, and the husband should also respect the mother and father of the wives, which normally men don't do. You see, the parents of a wife's parents is also be respected, and the husband's parents should be respected more as in relation to among each other. But the wife should respect or follow the husband, because she has to obey the husband. That is in the Quran. You have to obey Allah, you have to obey the messenger, you have to obey your parents, and you have to obey your wife has to obey the husband. In the right, of course, the right things. In the wrong things, you cannot obey. As the Quran says for the husband, wife, for the parents, he says you cannot obey them, but follow the one who invites you to the message, who is a deputy. But for the wife, in the Quran, it's not mentioned like this. In relation with husband and wife. So you can respect the parents more than the wife and husband relationship. Because husband has got the permission to beat the wife, but he cannot beat the father or parents. So that is why they have got the upper hand in any case. Because I told you they are old age, they have so much struggle. You are a mother, you know how much struggle you have done for your children as compared to you must have not done it for your mother. But the mother has done it for you. Or the father has done many things for you. So as a mother and father, when you become a mother and father, you know how they have gone through. Because even if you are in a better situation, if they were in the more better, not good situation, how much they have struggled for us. So whatever our existence is because of their struggle, in whatever manner they have struggled. So that is why we have to respect more.
Thanks. Another question.
Okay.
If we are believer parents, we have great wish that our children practice and believe. At what age we can give him message, and at what age they start implementation? Can any Quranic verse?
No, according to Quran.
Age mention?
No, according to Quran, I told you in my lecture also, according to Quran, you can educate them as you are educating other subjects, science and geography, physics. But remember that they will not follow. Why? Because of their age. And because why? Because they have not done anything wrong. They are innocent people. So innocent persons, when they are innocent people, when we are young, we are innocent and we want to do something wrong. That when we are young, we like to do. When I was very young and I was not even mature, before puberty, I wanted to steal, fruits from a tree, from somebody's house. And it was an activity. When you were young, it's an activity. It's not robbery basically, it's an activity. Oh yeah, can you do this? Oh, of course I can do this. So because we are innocent, we are doing certain things wrong, not knowingly that it is prohibited. So what I'm saying, innocent people do things at a younger age, and now you're trying to educate ayats. Adults are not able to understand. How many times I've repeated, but people cannot understand and believe. So, but the children you must educate, but do not expect them to follow. You must educate from the very childhood. Meaning education means the moral ethics. When you enter, you say Assalamu alaikum. In normal house, I am telling you, in normal house practice, this is a very normal thing. They cannot enter those hours. They should knock it. They should say Assalamu alaikum. Make it a habit. So that's in the Quran. So you can develop these little things. But it is not being practiced. We're reading it every day. The lecture is there. Allah says in Islam, we don't practice. So when I'm saying when we elderly people do not practice, then how can the children practice? So small little things you start, make sure that little things they can say Assalamu alaikum, no problem. So like otherwise they say hi, who are you? Bye, because other things. I say Khuda Hafiz, ja rahe bhai, Khuda Hafiz. So you are doing what the culture is saying. Don't, you practice what Quran says. Allah Hafiz, what Allah Hafiz? Salamu alaikum. Quran says Allah Hafiz is alright. I don't say Allah Hafiz, word is wrong. Allah means the protection of Allah, or the guarding of Allah, or the preservation of Allah. But the question when Allah says salam, or even to his father Ibrahim says Salamu alaikum. In Jannat when you enter, you say Salamu alaikum. Salam means peace. So make sure these little things are educated and practiced, slowly and gradually. But still, the bigger things, it's difficult to make them, they should follow. But still, you must keep on sharing it. That's the important factor. Our job is to share, but we cannot expect they will follow. As Nuh alayhi salam did not follow. That is the danger point. Because if you expect people to follow, then you get hurt. So you must have a distance. It's possible that they might not follow. Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is from Surah 3 Aal-e-Imran, Ayah 14, where it is mentioned the sons are adornment. If the sons are adornment, then how to keep a balance of love between boys and girls in the house?
Yeah, that we should not lead the girls as insignificant, as I recited in the verses, that they are left out. You see, the boys are adornment. You cannot exclude, the father and the mother cannot exclude that the boys are adornment for the parents and for your society. But now you have to consciously make sure that they are not left out as insignificant, as the Quran says. I read an ayah, which I read it, insignificant because you are not giving importance to the child, the girl child. So they should be loved, cuddled more, and make things for them which they can enjoy. You understand what I'm saying? So you cannot let them go out as the son is. But what is the requirement of the girl? You give them more importance consciously. You have to develop this conscious attachment towards them. Unconscious you cannot do it. Unconscious you have love for you. And you must have noticed every father and mother loves one child more. And it is noticeable. It is noticeable that this child is more, every mother and father, if the other sister and brothers know that this son or mine is more loved by our parents. So it is noticeable. But now if it is noticeable, but now you may develop the consciousness of more doing to those people. If I love my, suppose one daughter, so I'm more attached to that daughter, right? That I will do it naturally. But the rest of the daughters I'm ignoring. So I'll make conscious to do. I've done this of my love because I have love and affection for this girl or boy. But the other one, I will consciously to do it. No matter I don't have that kind of feeling, but as a job I will do it. That the girl should not left out as insignificant. That is the relationship between boys and girls, because normally boys are loved more. The girls are left out and make insignificant. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you make sure that the girls are made significant. Consciously you do. Your love for your sons will not go away. So you lift them up. Otherwise you are burying them up. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Shaikh.
One
Brother Shaikh, I was wondering if the parents realize, or the children realize, that they are not fulfilling the commitments as we found out today, and they want to amend among each other, how would they go about it? Would you be able to show me a reference from the Quranic verses? That what would be the amendment process between when they realize that they are not doing it?
They are not doing it, and now
Like they are not, and they are willing to fix among themselves. So how would they go about it? Like
no, the dua, the dua I told you, Rabbana filli wali walidayya wal mu'min, they recite that dua.
yeah.
You can recite that dua of Ibrahim al-Islam or of Musa al-Islam, or Nuh al-Islam.
But brother, what if the kids and the parents are both alive, and they both want to fix? Like you said, both the parents have made mistakes and the children have made mistakes, and they want to fix among themselves.
No, actually, if suppose your father is not alive, or you mean to say your son is not alive, or brother is not alive, or what?
Like even with, like I'm a parent and
Okay.
I've got kids. I've made mistakes with them.
Now, how
And
to
they've-
correct?
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes.
So if you have realized the extent, there is a surah, then you have to go back to the surah Al-Maidah 589.
All right.
Okay, that says, لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم الأيمان فكفارة إطعام عشرة مساكين من أوسط ما تطعمون أهلكم أو كسوتهم أو تحرير رقبة فمن لم يجد فصيام ثلاثة أيام ذلك كفارة أيمانكم إذا حلفتم واحفظوا أيمانكم كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلهم تشكرون. Allah will not catch you with nonsensical or ungrammatical talk in your right, and He will catch you with what you fastened, tied the knot in your right. And the atonement amended for correction. Now you and your son had some relationship, either you was wrong or either he was wrong, now both of you want to amend. So you confess the confession where you were wrong, and then you have to do is feeding of the 10 needy persons in a particular aspect. In a particular aspect, you have to feed the 10 needy person from an average of what you feed to your family. whatever the status by virtue you feed to your family, you have to take that average food, the same food, or garb them, or distinct of uniform kind, or liberate a free slave. Nowadays there is no liberation of slave. This is or 10 people to feed or free the slave. Then whosoever does not find this, then fast for 3 days. If you cannot, if you are a poor person, if you cannot have average scale of 10 people to feed, then you fast for 3 days. And that wrong should not be repeated again. Keeping in view that this thing I have done wrong, so I fast for 3 days, or I feed the poor 10 people on an average scale, and also clothe them. This is the atonement or amendment correction of your right when you take an oath and preserve your right. Likewise, Allah clarifies His right signs for you so that you may be thankful. So in any condition, not only specific parent-child, any condition including parent-child relationship, if you have done wrong to your child, now you have realized it, you say sorry to the person, to your child, even of your father, and because of this ayat I am saying sorry, and I want to correct my life, so I am fasting for 3 days, and I will not do it again. And son, you forgive. And then you are asking forgiveness for Allah because it was the order and hukum of Allah not to do so. So this is why you fast. So the guilt will go away. And if you don't repeat. Similar goes to the son. He should do the same thing. This is the procedure laid down in the Quran. Whenever you do wrong, whether father or son, if he wants to amend by the verse which expounded and you came to know this is where I was wrong, you admit that, then you fast for 3 days or feed the 10 poor, 10 people, to feed the 10 people. You do this. These are the things you have to do. Right?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
With this, we conclude our tonight's session. We would like to thank you all for your attendance. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.